Something is being stolen from your body right now, not slowly, not gradually, rapidly, and by the time you feel it, the exhaustion that doesn't go away after sleep, the brain fog that makes you forget why you walked into a room, the legs that feel like they belong to someone 20 years older than you, by then, up to 70% of it is already gone. In the last video, I told you that aging is not an event, it is a process. And that process has a name, and more importantly, it has a solution that researchers at Harvard, Wake Forest University, and the National Institute on Aging have been quietly stunned by for the last 3 years. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what is being stolen, who the thief is, and most importantly, the one specific form of vitamin that clinical trials confirm can actually give it back. Stay with me through this entire video, because what you're about to hear changes how you understand aging permanently. In 2013, a team of researchers at Harvard Medical School published a finding in the journal Cell that quietly shook the scientific community. They discovered that the root cause of most age-related decline, the fatigue, the muscle loss, the cognitive slowing, was not what anyone expected. It wasn't cholesterol, it wasn't inflammation, it wasn't even genetics. It was the catastrophic collapse of a single molecule inside every cell in your body. That molecule is called NAD+. And if you've never heard of it, that's not your fault. Most general practitioners still don't discuss it because nutritional biochemistry takes a backseat to prescription management in a 12-minute appointment. But here's what the science shows. At age 30, your body produces NAD+ at peak capacity. By age 60, production has declined by 40 to 50%. By age 70, that decline reaches 60 to 70%. When NAD+ collapses, everything ages at once. That is not a metaphor. That is cellular biology. Think of NAD+ like electricity in a building. When the power's fully on, every system works. When the power starts failing, systems shut down one by one. First, the non-essentials, then the critical systems. That's what depletion does to your body. Here's exactly what it steals from you. First, your cellular energy. Mitochondria cannot produce ATP without NAD+. You don't feel one cell losing power. You feel it as full-body fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. Second, your DNA repair capacity. Enzymes called PARPs require it to fix daily DNA damage. When levels are low, damage accumulates. That's a direct accelerator of aging. Third, your longevity proteins, sirtuins, your longevity genes, are entirely dependent on it. No NAD+, faster aging. But science doesn't just identify the problem, it provides the path to a solution. Restoring your NAD+ levels isn't about guesswork. It is about understanding the biological levers that keep your cells young. Current research into longevity protocols shows that through specific precursors and cellular support, we can actually help the body maintain its energy blueprint. We are entering an era where biological age is becoming a choice rather than an inevitability. I have compiled the full clinical breakdown and the evidence-based protocols for cellular restoration in the description below. If you found this deep dive helpful, please like this video and subscribe to join our community. Knowledge is the first step to longevity. Follow along as we continue to decode the science of aging. For years, scientists knew that NAD+ could theoretically be restored by giving the body its building blocks, specifically a form of vitamin B3. But there was a problem. Standard niacin, the B3 form most people know, does raise NAD+ to some degree, but it also causes a side effect called niacin flush, a wave of uncomfortable redness, heat, and tingling that makes consistent supplementation difficult. And NAD+ itself cannot be taken directly. The molecule is too large to survive digestion and reach cells intact. Then researchers discovered nicotinamide riboside, NR is a specific form of vitamin B3 that takes a different metabolic pathway to reach your cells. It bypasses the flush reaction entirely. It is absorbed in the gut, enters your bloodstream, and is converted directly into NAD+ inside your cells at the mitochondrial level. No heat, no redness, no discomfort, and the clinical results that followed its discovery are exactly why scientists are stunned. Let me walk you through the key studies, because "Scientists Are Stunned" is a title, and I want to show you specifically why they are stunned. These are real trials, real journals, and real numbers. Study 1, Wake Forest University, 2024. This trial followed older adults supplementing with NR over 12 weeks. Researchers measured NAD plus levels in blood and muscle tissue before and after. The results? NAD plus levels in skeletal muscle increased by up to 60% in just 8 weeks. The researchers described the speed of the cellular response as faster than anticipated. Study 2, the twin study. Using identical twins, one supplementing with NR, one with a placebo, researchers could isolate the NAD effect from genetics. The NR group showed improvements in mitochondrial function that the placebo twin with the exact same DNA did not. This was among the first direct evidence that NAD plus restoration is a biological phenomenon, not a placebo, not a lifestyle effect. This pooled analysis examined multiple NR trials, specifically in adults 60 and older, focusing on muscle preservation. Conclusion: NR supplementation was associated with significantly reduced muscle mass decline and improved grip strength over 6 months. For adults over 70, grip strength is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and independence. NR on its own is powerful, but clinical evidence shows that 3 additional nutrients work synergistically with NR, each one amplifying a different mechanism of cellular restoration. Amplifier number 1, vitamin D3 plus K2. Most seniors are deficient in vitamin D3, not because they don't get enough sun, but because aging skin converts sunlight to D3 at about 75% less efficiency than it did at 30. The result? Chronic low-grade D3 deficiency that weakens immune regulation and accelerates inflammation, the same inflammation that depletes NAD plus faster. But here's the pairing most doctors miss. K2 must accompany D3. D3 increases calcium absorption. Without K2 to direct that calcium into your bones rather than your arteries, calcium supplementation can actually increase arterial calcification risk. The two must work together. Combined D3 and K2 has been shown in the Rotterdam study to reduce coronary disease risk by up to 57% in older adults. And when NAD plus restoration is occurring simultaneously, the anti-inflammatory synergy is compounded. Amplifier number 2, magnesium glycinate. Magnesium is the most overlooked nutrient in senior health. Over 75% of adults over 60 are clinically deficient, often without knowing it, because standard blood tests measure serum magnesium, not cellular magnesium, and the body will pull magnesium from muscles and bones to keep serum levels normal. What does magnesium have to do with NAD+? Everything. Magnesium is a required cofactor for over 300 enzymatic reactions, including several in the NAD synthesis pathway. Without adequate magnesium, your cells cannot produce NAD efficiently even when the precursors are present. It's like having the right ingredients for a recipe, but no heat to cook with. Magnesium glycinate, not magnesium oxide, is the best absorbed form for seniors. A 200 to 400 milligrams at night also supports deep sleep, which is itself a critical period for NAD plus regeneration. Amplifier number 3, omega-3, specifically DHA and EPA. Your mitochondrial membranes, the walls of the powerhouses inside each cell, are made partially of fatty acids. when those membranes are rigid from omega-6 dominance, which the typical processed food diet causes. NAD-fueled reactions inside the mitochondria become less efficient. DHA and EPA restore membrane fluidity. Clinical trials have shown that in adults over 60, omega-3 supplementation reduces the inflammatory cytokines that directly deplete NAD+. Think of omega-3 as removing the obstacles that slow NAD+ down. Before we get into the 30-day protocol and the 5 mistakes that undo all of this, subscribe and hit the bell if you're watching this and thinking, I need this. We publish every week, and next week's video is going to reveal the 5 morning habits that double the effectiveness of everything in this video. Don't miss it. Here is what nobody tells you about NAD+ restoration. It doesn't matter what you take if you're simultaneously destroying what your body is trying to rebuild. These 5 habits are the most common NAD depleters in adults over 60, and some of them will genuinely surprise you. Saboteur. Number 1. Chronic, low-grade sleep deprivation. NAD+ is regenerated during deep sleep, specifically during slow-wave sleep stages. Adults over 60 spend significantly less time in deep sleep than younger adults. If you're averaging under 6 hours or waking repeatedly, you are cutting off the primary NAD+ recovery window every single night. Saboteur number 2, excessive alcohol, even moderate drinking. Alcohol metabolism is NAD+ intensive. Your liver uses NAD+ to process ethanol, and that competition directly reduces NAD+ available for cellular repair. Even 2 drinks per night consistently can measurably reduce your NAD+ pool. Saboteur number 3, refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Fructose metabolism generates uric acid, which inhibits NAD+ synthesis pathways. The ketchup on your eggs, the dressing on your salad, the bread at lunch, check every label. If fructose corn syrup appears in the first 4 ingredients, it is actively competing against the NAD+ your cells need. Saboteur number 4, sedentary behavior, specifically sitting for long periods. Exercise is one of the most potent natural NAD+ stimulators. Not intense exercise, even moderate movement activates AMPK, an enzyme that upregulates NAD synthesis. If you sit for more than 4 hours without movement, AMPK activity drops significantly. A 10-minute walk every 90 minutes changes this equation. Saboteur number 5, chronic psychological stress. Cortisol, your stress hormone, directly competes with NAD+ at the sirtuin level. Chronic stress essentially hijacks your longevity proteins for the stress response and redirects resources away from cellular repair. This is why isolation, anxiety, and chronic worrying in seniors is not just emotional, it is biologically aging. Let me give you a concrete week-by-week framework so you finish this video with a plan, not just information, the daily stack. Start here. NR, Nicotinamide Riboside, 300 milligrams in the morning with breakfast. Specifically look for NR chloride form, certified by USP, NSF, or Informed Sport. True Niagen is the most studied branded form and runs $30 to $50 a month. Vitamin D, 3 plus K2, 2,000 to 5,000 IU of D3 with 100 to 200 micrograms of K2, specifically the MK7 form, with your fattiest meal of the day, as both are fat-soluble. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams at bedtime. This supports sleep and overnight. NAD plus regeneration. Omega-3, 1 to 2 grams, combined DHA and EPA daily, with a meal, not on an empty stomach. Week 1, the setup phase. Your body is clearing inflammation and establishing baseline absorption. You may not feel dramatic changes yet. You may notice slightly better sleep within 5 to 7 days as magnesium takes effect. Do not expect energy improvements yet. Your mitochondria are rebuilding infrastructure, not performance yet. Week 2. The first signal. Most people report the first consistent sign here: clearer thinking in the morning, brain fog lifting slightly earlier in the day. Some report that their energy no longer completely crashes in the early afternoon. These are early mitochondrial signals, small but significant. Week 3. The physical shift. Muscle recovery after activity begins to improve. If you've been doing light walking or exercise, you'll notice less post-activity soreness and faster bounce back. Grip strength may feel subtly stronger. Leg heaviness that was constant may become intermittent. Week 4. The sustained baseline. Consistent energy through the day, not a spike, a floor. The exhaustion that used to arrive at 2 p.m. either delays significantly or disappears. Sleep quality improvements become consistent. Several clinical trials show measurable NAD plus blood level increases confirmed at the 4 to 6 week mark. Important: if you are on blood thinners, chemotherapy, or immunosuppressants, please consult your physician before starting NR. These interactions are rare but real, and your safety is the priority. Let me share 2 composites based on the kinds of experiences researchers document in trials and that senior health communities report regularly. Margaret is 74. For 3 years, she described her mornings as existing rather than living. She would wake already tired, move slowly until noon, and then hit a wall by 2 p.m. Her doctor told her it was normal aging. 6 weeks into the NR plus D 3 plus magnesium protocol, her husband noticed she was up and moving before he was. She wasn't pain-free. She wasn't 40 again. But she described it as, "A light came back on that I forgot was even off." Harold is 79. He had been watching his muscle mass decline steadily since 72. He was doing everything he was told: walking daily, eating protein, staying hydrated. What nobody addressed was that his cells had lost the ability to convert the protein and movement into actual muscle repair. NAD plus restoration gave his cellular machinery something to work with. 3 months later, his grip strength, measured at his next physical, had improved for the first time in years. These are not miracle stories, they are biology stories. And biology, when given the right inputs, responds. 3 mistakes I see constantly, and I want you to avoid all of them. Mistake 1. Taking NR without food. NR absorbs significantly better with a meal, particularly one that contains some healthy fat. Taking it on an empty stomach in the morning reduces bioavailability by 20 to 30% in some studies. Always with breakfast. Mistake 2. Buying the cheapest NR you can find. NR quality varies dramatically. Some products labeled NR contain very little actual NR chloride, the bioavailable form. Look specifically for NR chloride, third-party certified, and ideally a product using the True Niagen licensed ingredient. This is not a place to save money. Mistake 3. Stopping at 3 weeks because I don't feel anything dramatic. NAD plus restoration is cellular infrastructure work. You don't feel your mitochondria rebuilding. You feel the output over time. Clinical trials consistently show the most significant improvements between weeks 6 and 12. 3 weeks is not the finish line. It's the starting point. Here is what I want you to walk away knowing. The fatigue, the brain fog, the muscle weakness, these are not just part of getting older. They are measurable biological symptoms of a cellular decline that science now understands and that targeted nutrition can meaningfully address. 1 vitamin. The right form. Consistent daily use, paired with the amplifiers that make it work and guarded against the 5 saboteurs that undo it. That is the protocol. And it is based on peer-reviewed, published science from some of the most respected institutions in the world. Next week, I'm going to show you the 5 morning movements, not exercises, movements that clinical trials show can double your NAD plus naturally within 60 days. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop a comment right now. How old are you, and what's the one symptom you want gone most? I read every single comment, and your answers shape the videos I make next. I'll see you next week.